Hello everybody, happy Wednesday and welcome to our weekly live. Apologies, I'm a minute late there. I was just playing around with flipping the screen. Someone in a mastermind that I'm a member of suggested doing this. So hopefully the books, but now it's back to front, so the books, they're there, are now the right way around for you. I'm not sure if they are, but not that it really matters, but you know, it's all the detail, isn't it? But anyway, happy Wednesday, good evening. I hope you've had a wonderful day, week, wherever you are in the world. Usual weather update. Here in the UK, we are having the most amazing sunny weather. This time last year, we had the beast from the east. And these last few days, as you can see, I'm wearing sort of a summery dress. Been out without a jacket. I had an ice cream today, which is ridiculous for the end of February, and it's been so wonderful. Already tomorrow is going to be cooler and rainy, so I made the most of my flexible, location-independent working style, and I headed out, sat outside, ostensibly to do some work. I did have a notepad and pen. I did plan some content, which is of course very important, and basically just basking in the sun and enjoying that. So always good to get some fresh air and sunshine. But anyway, I know we have lots of new members here in the group, so massive welcome to all of you. Really happy you could join us. Really great to see so many new faces, and of course the familiar ones as well. In case you are new, my name is Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside. I'm the author of Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5, and I'm the host of the Reimagining Success podcast. So again, massive welcome back, and this is our regular live where we do a training every week, more or less on Wednesdays, 8 o'clock UK time. Now we do have our boot camp coming up, starting on Sunday, so I'll be talking about that in just a moment. But I just wanted to cover a few things that have come in terms of the content we've been covering the last few weeks. So if you are new, there's plenty to be digging into. If anything that I say sounds interesting, you've missed something, you can't find the podcast, blog post, whatever it is, just comment below. If you're watching the replay, that's fine too. And I will make sure that I'll send you over whatever is the most relevant resource for you, because there is a lot. So I don't want to overwhelm you, but there's plenty of answers probably to a lot of your questions already. We've been covering the topic of personal branding over the last couple of weeks, a couple of months actually, why personal branding is important, how to go about crafting your story, how to get over that ick factor of trying to get more comfortable with selling yourself and thinking about yourself as a personal brand. Now, somebody was asking about the difference between the personal brand and the business brand. And I think business brand is something that we're probably more or less familiar with. You know, we get the whole Nike, Apple logos kind of thing. I come from a corporate marketing background. I worked at Procter & Gamble in Geneva in Switzerland for many years. And our marketing team was really the owner of those brands, sort of the guardian, if you want, of those brands. So we would really look at the brand equity, as we called it, as we now talk about, sort of the mission, which wasn't so much the case then, but really what the brand stands for, the tone of voice, of course, the logos, the colours and so on. Because I was working in the perfume beauty department, we partnered very closely with the fashion houses. So as you can imagine, Mr. Dolce and Gabbana, Mr. Hugo Boss, not so much Hugo Boss, but at least the German team behind it and so on. It was very much a partnership of what that brand needs to stand for. Because these brands with a heritage of decades or certainly many years obviously have a lot of pressure and need to really maintain that over the many decades still to come. So you can have pages and pages of, and do say hi when you come on, do say hello, just lost someone there, and we have pages and pages of cropping guidelines, even just for like the visuals, the graphics that you should need for each particular execution all around the world. So there was an extreme level of detail, which of course stands you in good stead, I think, for later on. But anyway, the point being that business brands, I think we all get, but personal brand, do I really need that? And the answer is definitely yes. I can point you in the direction again to a couple of the posts that I wrote about this. But it's really, the reality is that we have a personal brand, whether we realise it or not. First of all, is what people think about you, say about you, write about you when you're not there generally, and when you're there maybe. So first of all, you have one regardless. Secondly, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, I always give the example of Richard Branson. Yes, a massive example, but nonetheless a clear one that I think we all get. The entity of Richard Branson, the personal brand of Richard Branson, is so much bigger and longer lasting than any particular flop. You know, he had a balloon project that didn't go so well. He has a number of businesses that have folded and so on. Doesn't really matter. Virgin as a whole, but in particular Richard Branson has this kind of maverick entrepreneur personality, very successful, of course, taking risks, fun, down-to-earth personality, cares about his team and so on. And that's incredibly powerful. Now, of course, most of us, at least I am, operating on a very much smaller scale than that. But you can still see that, as much as one step outside is my brand now, it may be that I'll pivot, I'll change who I work with, what I'll do in the future. And it's very much perhaps temporary, as much as it's important to me and something that I'm building now for the longer term. Anna Lundberg, on the other hand, is someone that hopefully will be around for even longer. So me building my credibility, rooting back into my marketing, my branding background, the writing I do, the coaching, all those things are weaving into a coherent story, of which One Step Outside is a part, of which the book, the podcast, again, my corporate background, all that is part of my story. But again, Anna Lundberg lives on above and beyond the particular business brand. And in fact, I've had a couple of other brands I still have the websites for a few other projects along the way since I left my job in 2013. So there is a difference between personal brand, business brand. Now, if you're a solopreneur, a freelancer, it's likely that the two will, very much overlap, if not almost be identical. But still, it's important to think of them as two different things. Certainly if you're working with clients, you're thinking about what your brand stands for, the value you can bring to that client, and so on. Whereas a personal brand may well and probably should incorporate more personal elements as well, a bit more personality, your hobbies, your passions, your volunteering, and so on. So just to say, they are distinct but very much related for those of us who are solopreneurs, freelancers, and small business owners. Now, in the context of talking about the challenge next week, the Personal Branding Bootcamp, I have called it the Personal Branding Bootcamp because that is the focus we've had these last few weeks and months. However, I want to reassure you all, if that's a question I know a couple of you came with, that this is actually 100% applicable both to the personal brand and business brand. So you may want to come with a focus of the personal brand, you may want to come with the business brand in mind, or in fact, why not think of the two together? Because really we're talking about a very coherent, consistent online presence, so it's important to think of the two together. But just to say that the content focus that we have next week is very much applicable to both personal brand and business brand. So without further ado, I do want to dig into a bit of detail. I did post the schedule the other day, so do have a look, scroll down and have a look at the schedule, the 5-day plan. Wanted you to see what's going on each day next week in the Personal Branding Bootcamp. Now we start on Sunday the 3rd of March. Really happy to see so many of you signing up to this. Some familiar faces, great to have you back, and some new ones as well. So I hope you enjoy your first challenge here. Of course, if it is your first time, don't hesitate to ask below, PM me, send me any questions if you don't know how it works and so on. But in a nutshell, it's going for 5 days, of course, free training. When you sign up, you'll get a welcome email from me, and basically just telling you to join this group, which you guys, I imagine, have since you're here in the Facebook group. A couple of days later, within a day or so, you should get the pre-work. So if you do want to be a keen bean and do a bit of foundational work, that's all around sort of working out who your client is and the kind of content they're interested in. That may be something you've already done before, in which case you have, all that and more. If not, I just want to make sure you have a bit of the fundamentals in place, because that is an important piece of the puzzle when we get started next week. So there's a bit of pre-work, a quick sort of 1-page worksheet, and apart from that, you just need to make sure that you're here and ready to go on Sunday. Now, it's going on every Sunday evening. I've posted the event here as well, so we're planning for about 45 minutes. I tend to go over the 30 minutes, so this time I thought it would be good to say 45 minutes. It's 8 o'clock UK time every evening, so hopefully that works for you time zone wise. It's when your kids have gone to bed over here in Europe at least. It's after work and so on. Although I don't know about you, this is not my peak alertness time, but it certainly seems to be a time that works for many of us. If you're in Australia, Japan, some part of the world where that time doesn't work for you, you can still pretend it's live, so you'll be able to watch the replay. I'm creating a review page this time round, so you'll have all the trainings from the week, the worksheets and so on in one place to review. But of course, the whole benefit of the week, the challenge, is that it's interactive, dynamic, fast-paced. We're bouncing off ideas from each other, you're getting the live feedback from me and so on. So what I would suggest generally is if you have the bandwidth next week, you can't join at 8 o'clock UK time, then why don't you put it into your calendar as 8 o'clock your time, or whatever that might be. Plan it as if it were an appointment in your calendar. It's always a good tip for time management. Show up as if it's an actual live meeting, and make sure you then still work through the daily sessions, because each day will build on the previous day. So just to recap again on the content, so Sunday is around why you want to build a personal brand. And again, this is very individual to you. And if you want to think about it rather as your business brand, that's fine too. We are focusing on why personal brand. And then the rest of the week, we're really looking at content. And again, very relevant to personal and business. We're looking at what content you should be creating, where you should be posting it. So really choosing the most effective targeted channels, when to post it on the different days, making sure you're consistent and persistent, always a key one. And then really practical tips coming out of this as to how you're going to execute this. Planning your calendar, I'm going to share how I do my week, and making sure that you're showing up consistently, because that really is the biggest success driver when it comes to content and building a brand. So again, any questions on what that means and so on, of course it'll all become clear when we start next week, but if you have any doubts, then don't hesitate to let me know before we get started. But other than that, I'd love to see you on Sunday. Now, a few more logistics. We have that sort of 30-45 minute session. There's then always a piece of homework for you all, lovely school time to do some exercises. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes or so, but you can spend longer, you can sort of skip through it. But of course, the best results you'll see is if you really commit to this, you turn up every evening, you do the work. If not for yourself, then there are some prizes. There will be a book on the first day, there'll be calls with me up for grabs, and there'll be a scholarship, as often is the case at the end of the week. So more news to come on that. But again, this is all about action. This is a completely free training for you. It's basically sort of almost, intensive coaching with me over a week. Pretty good value, if I say so myself, in terms of what you're getting out of this, and hopefully incredibly helpful for you. If you started 2019 with some really ambitious goals as to what you wanted to achieve, maybe you're not quite getting there. Life happens. Same thing for me. I haven't quite been staying on top of my to-do list as much as I would like to. But if that's the case, this is a time to really re-inject that enthusiasm, energy, get the support of the team, the group here, and myself, of course, and to really accelerate your progress. So that's the content for next week. Why, what, where, when, and how. Now, in terms of who this is for, again, in case you have any doubts, this is for you if you are just starting out, because it's really going to help you lay the basics, lay the foundations, and get started on the right foot from the beginning. So really get your platforms up and running from the beginning, whether it's your website, your social channels, and so on, and get into that routine right from the start. It's also for you if you're a bit more established, if you're looking to take your brand to the next level, if you're trying to pivot, change direction a little bit, and you really want to start showing up consistently, make a bigger difference to build that long-term brand. So whether you're just starting out or you're a bit further along and you need to sort of change things up a gear, this is perfect for you. So again, any questions at all, let me know. I'd love to get more of you involved. It's so fun when we have a big group, and I think this is, and I say this every time, but it's true because I'm getting better at putting everything together and the content gets more refined and so on. But this topic is so important, better than ever, much more concrete every time we do these challenges. We're building on previous exercises as well. In fact, content creation was sort of the final day of the client generation bootcamp that we did in January, but it was very much sort of very quickly covered. So this is going to allow us to do 5 whole days on this, 5 whole sessions. So hopefully really relevant and important to you all. So I should say that if you haven't signed up, you can sign up at onestepoutside.com/personal branding. onestepoutside.com/personal branding. I'll also post the link below. Jamila and Cara here in the One Step team are posting the links pretty much every day in some form or another. Today is Wednesday, so tomorrow is the new podcast where I'm talking more about the bootcamp. We had the blog post yesterday. We'll be talking about it over the next few days to get you all set up. If you are signed up, or if you're thinking of getting signed up, then the next time you'll hear from me will be on Saturday. You'll get an email. I'll post it in the group to get you all to introduce yourselves and tell us what you want to get out of the challenge, and then we'll get started on Sunday. After each session, you'll get an email with a link to the video in case you missed it, with the homework reminder. There'll be a homework thread in the group for you to post on, and then we'll come back the next day and we'll do it all again. So one more time, onestepoutside.com/personal branding. I'd love to see you in the challenge. We start on the Sunday. Any questions at all, let me know. Really excited about this. Again, we get massive results when we do this kind of challenge. I do them with my coach as well, and I get fantastic results. I do them even, with you guys. I'm still getting new ideas and so on, and I know the feedback was fantastic from back in January. So please do sign up, make the most of this, enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Thanks so much. Bye for now.